Guess who's back? Back again. Lucy's back. Tell a friend. I may have been thinking about that for the last 24 hours, but you know, I was pretty proud of myself. But anyway, yes, hello. Welcome back to my channel. There is a lot more of you than when I last made a video. I think there is now nearly 800 of us, and I think the last time I made a video there was less than 500, so welcome, all new people. And I hope you've been enjoying my videos, and I hope you've been finding them useful. From some of the messages you guys sent me on Instagram and the comments you left on the YouTube videos, I think you are. And I love getting messages from all of you, so keep them coming. I will try and respond better. I was on a bit of a hiatus, so I apologise if some of them slipped through the cracks, but I'm back. I'll be answering comments, I'll be answering Instagram messages, so if you have any questions or if you just want to talk to someone because you're stressed about something, I'm here. Yeah, so I'm back. What does that mean? Well, I'm back doing the PhD. I'm back from the leave of absence, and I'm going to go into a little bit about sort of what that was like, what did it end up being, the process, just in case any of you are thinking of taking a leave of absence or you're currently on one and you don't know the process of like restarting the PhD. So, leave of absence. I took a leave of absence from January to about June, so a fairly long one in the end, like way longer than I thought. When I made that video, which I'll link a card up here, I genuinely thought it was going to be like a month, 2 max, and it ended up being close to 5 months, which is crazy, but it's what I needed. And I'm in such a better place now. I don't know if you can tell from my voice and just my enthusiasm. I am doing so much better. Thanks to therapy, thanks to medication, and I think thanks to just giving myself a breather and a time to reassess, like, why am I doing the PhD? What do I want out of my life? What's my priorities? And I think, although I obviously took it because I kind of reached a crisis point, I think it's really important to reassess at times why you're doing certain things, where you're hoping to go with your life, because otherwise you just start going through the motions and everything becomes a bit meaningless. And I feel a lot better now, I feel a lot more confident, and I feel refreshed and enthusiastic about the PhD again, which I think is the most important thing. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of what I did over my leave of absence because that's going to differ for everybody, and frankly, it's personal and it's not that interesting. Honestly, trust me, it's not that interesting. So instead, I'm going to talk about coming back to the PhD and kind of how I approached that, and certainly for the University of Birmingham, what were the actual kind of administrative steps that I had to take to re-register as a PhD student. So the first thing I did is I met with my supervisor, Dr. Amy Burge. I love my supervisor, she's amazing, and we had a very like informal, how are you doing? Are you ready to come back? What does coming back look like for you meeting in early June? And in that meeting, we basically discussed a whole bunch of stuff about like, what did I want my PhD to look like? Was I wanting to come back full-time? Did I want to come back part-time? Did I want to change anything? Did I, had anything changed for me during that 5 months? And honestly, it was such a productive meeting. And in the end, decided I'm going to come back full-time. I did change a little bit of my thesis outline because I realised part of the reason I was getting so stressed in January because my English Literature PhD has a large data portion, and I was kind of thinking to myself, oh, this is only like a fun little add-on, this isn't the main part, should I be wasting this much time? So I told her that, I was like, oh, it was really stressing me out because in my head it was maximum 25%, and Amy was wanting, she said, I always thought it was going to be more like 50, maybe 60% of your PhD, and I just was like, oh, okay, yeah, that would be really cool. Can we change the outline so it feels more concrete and feels more cohesive and my data is more included overall? And that's what we did. And it changed how I approached my PhD. It changed how I was approaching the data. It made it feel like less as something I just needed to rush through and do. And no, this is just as valid part of the PhD as researching critics, as reading primary texts, as kind of assessing language and things like that. So that really helped me, and that meeting was super positive. So that was an informal meeting. As part of that meeting, Amy also said, okay, you need to email this person. I'll put the email address on the screen and tell them, hey, I would like to re-register. Now, because I had applied for a medical leave of absence, I had to get a letter from a medical professional, so either my doctor or my therapist, to basically say, I'm healthy enough to restart the PhD. So that's what I did. I contacted my therapist, I said, can I have a letter? And I sent an email to that person with the letter attached saying, I would like to restart my PhD. Now, I make that sound very simple and quick. It actually took a few weeks to get the letter, to get it sent off, to then get the confirmation back. So I didn't officially re-register for my PhD until late June, which is why I didn't make a video till now, because I wanted to be properly back in the swing of things before I made my first video saying, I'm back. Simple process in the end, but did take a little while. Now, the impact that I didn't realise taking leave of absence would have was on my finances. Now, when I took the leave of absence, I honestly wasn't thinking about my financial situation or my finances because I had such bigger priorities in life at the time. And I knew I was in a position where, I was back at my parents' house and I wasn't going to be spending much money. So it just wasn't something I even thought about, if I'm being honest. And I realised that's a very privileged position to be in, where I could just not think about my finances for 5 months and sort of just exist. When I came back in June, I checked my bank account and I was like, oh, this has gone down. This is not looking as healthy as when I left. And that's partly because I stopped working a lot of my part-time jobs. Like, I did a very bare minimum. I stopped doing my student team job. I was still doing my character-wise job, but I wasn't like invoicing it because I just kept forgetting. Basically, I hadn't had any income coming in. And the income I thought was coming in was my student loan, which rather stupidly, I hadn't realised that if I was no longer registered as a PhD student, I would no longer qualify for the student loan. So what happened there is it got suspended, which basically means my account's still there, I can still log into it, I can still see what I've been paid, and I can see the future payments I should have, but I won't be getting any new payments until I'm re-registered as a student. So this, in practical terms, meant I missed 1 or 2 payments that I should have had from the student loan company for my PhD during that time, which is obviously quite a large chunk of money to miss out on. And if you've watched my finance video, which I made a long time ago and really does need updating, I think, although no, everything's still kind of the same. My student loan kind of helps my day-to-day a lot, and yeah, I need that money. There's no other way to put it. I need my student loan money. So the fact I wasn't getting that was partly when my finances took a hit. So when I came back in June, I was suddenly like very conscious, okay, I'm not living with my parents anymore. I'm back to paying sort of my usual level of rent. I was going to have a puppy and she had to go to the vets, and so there was kind of these costs that came up. And basically the process is I can't do anything to reactivate that student loan. It has to come from me being re-registered as a university student at the University of Birmingham. So the fact that it took about 2-3 weeks to get the letter, to get the email, to get the confirmation back that I was restarting the PhD, obviously then had a knock-on effect on the student loan, which only got reactivated, and like I got confirmation text saying my money would be in my account in 3 days this week. So that gives you an idea of kind of the time it took from I'm coming back to Birmingham in early June, I'm going to restart the PhD, have an informal meeting with my supervisor, to officially be registered as a student, getting my money back. Admin-wise, behind-the-scene-wise, I've restarted my PhD and everything is normal to early mid-July. So if you are coming back from a leave of absence, I would say get your ducks in a row beforehand. Don't be like me and kind of move and then do all the admin stuff. Start thinking about the admin stuff, contact your doctor, contact your therapist, get the letter ready so that when you restart, you can quickly send off that email almost straight away. And hopefully that'll speed up the process for you. So that is the process of officially coming back from a leave of absence. And the final thing was I had an official supervision meeting where obviously it's registered, and if you're at the University of Birmingham or other universities, you tend to have to fill in a form on the very last day of June. So unofficial start of June, official end of June with both my supervisors, and that's where we really started to talk about, okay, what am I actually going to do this month? What am I going to do coming forward? So very quickly, if you stuck around for this long, thank you so much, and I just want to give you a little hint of what's coming up in the channel in future, and also ask you what kind of videos you want to see, because I feel like I've been out the loop for so long, and as always I want to provide content that is useful to you. Obviously some of the stuff you guys have asked me in the past I can't really do because it's either something I haven't gone through or I don't feel knowledgeable on the topic, but if I am, I'll always try and do it. Now, what I do know I'm going to create a video, and something a lot of you have been asking me for a long time, is conferences, because actually in June I gave my first conference paper. I attended my first conference. It was a virtual conference, and I also was a speaker at like a seminar series event at the University of Cardiff. So I'm going to create a video on kind of constructing conference papers and the process and all that jazz. But after that, I just want to know what you guys want to see. Obviously, I will come up with my own things, but always love hearing from you. And as always, if you have any questions or you want to subscribe, like the video, all that jazz, you know what you're doing. It's all down below. Okay, I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.